Okay, today we'll be trying to convert this into a rhinestone font. This font is quite stylish and it will look really good as a rhinestone font as opposed to something more straight. So the name of the font is Melanie Roslin. I'm going to send the font to you so you will be able to use it. It's right over here. So when you get the font, all you need to do is double click on the font. This interface will open and you click install. I already have it installed, so it was supposed to ask me if I wanted to reinstall. Just click install and it will install the font. So when you come to Corel Draw, all you need to do is to write the word righteous. Write it in a sentence format with only the R capitalized. This way, increase the size of the font. Then come here, up here, where you have Arial written, and type in Melanie, and it comes up. This is it right here. When you click it, the font has become this. Now let's push this to, we can even delete it. Let's use the one we just created. Now, depending on what size, the size of what you want to do will determine. You should already have that in mind before you start to convert this into a rhinestone font, because if you get the wrong size, going back to resize it may not be that easy. You probably will have to start all over again. So the first thing is that we are going to assume that this righteous is the only thing we want to put on the shirt. Now in rhinestone designing, the bigger the better, because it means you can pack more stones into the space, and more stones means more, the design is more defined as opposed to only 2 or 3 stones. Let me give you an example of what I mean. If I draw a circle here, remember, to draw a perfect circle, when you draw the circle, you need to hold control, or rather control and shift together. Or is it just control? Hold on. Okay, yes, just control is enough for you to draw a perfect circle. There was something I wanted to say. Okay, so if we go to our Rstones over here and we click the fill type and we go to island fill and we click create stones. Now see how this is. This is defined all over this, but this center place couldn't create a circle. So maybe we could decide to delete that, or just go in and arrange it. Go in and arrange it again. But that's not the goal here. The goal is to show you the difference. So this is this is a big circle. So if we delete all the circles inside and reduce this circle, now use the same island fill and click this. Now you can see it only gave us this. It didn't even give us one in the middle, but we can decide to duplicate one of it and put it in the middle to create the circle. Now if we take the circle and increase it a bit and do the same thing, now you can see the bigger the circle, the more stones are able to fit into it, and it looks more like a circle, as opposed to, say for example, we reduce this very small and you see it can only fit one. So the size of what you are trying to create, what you are trying to turn into a rhinestone template, is important. The bigger the size, the better, because you'll be able to fit more stones into your rhinestone template. Now before we go on, I want you to come to Rstones here. Now this is how yours probably looks with this. I had to do a customization of the size of stones I wanted. I did that because I found that these options here are either too big or too small when you cut them into a rhinestone template material. This is too small. Although this is the one that says it's SS10, it's too small. This isn't big enough either. The correct or the size I found to be the best is between this SS12 and SS14. So it's about 3.5. It's not 3.6, it's not 3.2. 3.5 is what I use. So in order to customize this to the size you want, which is 3.5, all you need to do is to come up here and click catalog, show catalog. And you click show catalog, and this is what comes up. Here, click this button here and click it. Then change the name here and call it size 3.5. When you do that, click set series. Oh, sorry, don't do that. Come here and click this one here and call it new size, call it 3.5. Then here change this to 3.5. Then here pick a color, drag this to around, or just write 06 times here. That's black, or rather 1 2 3 4 5 6. That's black. Then come here and call this, just click this. There's no need to do any other thing here. You can leave every other thing here. Then you click save and close. So if you go to series here, you see what you just created, size 3.5. You click on that, and whenever you want to create anything, make sure this is selected. So if we go here now and draw a circle, and we go to island fill and click create, if you click one of the circles, duplicate it and drag it here, come up here, don't select anything, come up here and change this to millimeters and click on that. See, it's 3.5, although it's 3.501 millimeters. So this 3.5 is in millimeters. Okay. Another thing, so that your interface looks like mine, is come here. I believe yours is in mm. Change it to inch, so yours will look like this. Come here and change this to 0.0300. 0.0300. Anyway, so that's the setup for changing your Rstones to have this 3.5, so that everything you create will have 3.5 mm circles, which is the best when you want to cut your rhinestone designs on a rhinestone template. Let's zoom out. Now let's imagine this righteous. Now come back here and change this millimeters to inches. I prefer working in inches for some reason. Anyway, we select this, right? And we want to choose the right size. Now for most t-shirts, a width of 11 inches is okay. Anything bigger than that may be too wide for the shirt. Even the 11 inches will technically be too wide for a shirt that is medium, a medium female shirt. 11 inches will be too wide. But remember, like I said, the rule is the bigger the size of what you want to create, the better. The more defined the design will be, the rhinestone design will be. But leave all the sizing for now and let's just choose 11. Now when you select the font, come here. If this is unlocked this way, make sure it's locked in, lock ratio, make sure it's locked. If this is how yours is, make sure it's locked. Come here and type 11 and enter. So what it has done is it has increased the width and increased the height together at the same time. But if this wasn't locked and say you change this to 9, what it has done is that it reduced the width without reducing the height approximately. So this ensures that it is increased with the same ratio, height and width. So let's lock it again and type 11 here. Now if you notice, because the height was the old height, it gave it a new look. I think I even like this. Sometimes you can decide that, oh, the height is too short, and unlock this and change this to 5. I think I like this one this way. So this is something that will kind of fill the front of a shirt. Now we don't need our stones here. The next thing we need to do, duplicate this. Always duplicate when you're trying to change something. When you know you are going to be changing something in the next step, duplicate. Let me turn this on. Give me 1 minute so you can see some of the shortcuts that I'm typing. So you take this, you Control K. What Control K did is it separated every single letter. Originally, when you select it, it selects it all at once, but with Control K, it selects all the letters. Now select everything and click Control Q. Now what Control Q does is that it converts the letters into curves. What that means is it transforms the letters into a shape. Like this, it's not a shape, it's just a font. And like this, it's a shape. Remember how stone works with shapes. It tries to fill the shape with circles, or it tries to put the circles on the curves, that is the lines. This will not work when it's in font format. So if you come here now and say, for example, we take this and we remove the fill and right click to put an outline, we come here, go to line here and click create stones. Oh, it even actually worked, but I prefer not to do it that way. I prefer to convert it to curves first, so that you can transform each each letter into a shape. There's a benefit to all that you will see later on. So now that everything is transformed into a shape, select the whole thing, remove the fill, that is left click on this one that has an X, it's an empty icon, then right click on this one to give it an outline color of black. Now we can now decide to select everything like this, go to our stones, come to island fill and click create stones. Now our stones has done something for us, but as you can see, it's not perfect, which is what I had been saying from the jump, that our stones will only do a part of the job for you. Most of it you still have to now go in and do manually. Now it didn't even fill this E, which is weird. See, it's not filling the E because the shape of the E is not giving it what it needs to work with. So if we select this E and go to place on curve method, stones on curve, let's click this one, around curve. We want it on the inside, so let's click create stones. It still didn't work, which is weird. Again, let me see if it actually changed for this one. Let's see. It didn't feel here. There's a quick or easy way to solve that later. But what we need to do first of all is to go here and look at what was created for us and what we can work with. Now this is just all over the place. So one thing I would do is, since this isn't technically a shape, what I would say is, let's delete all this. Then we'll take each letter one by one. Let's add circles, or in this case stones, to the letters one by one. Come here, click R, and let's use stones around curve, put it on the inside, and click yes. This is what we want. Now if you see, I was trying to avoid it creating something here. So the next thing you need to do is to look at the font itself and look at, sometimes you follow the font, sometimes you ignore the font so that it can give you something unique. So for this one now, you can see there's a lot of space in between here. We can decide that we want to, fill that space up. Now, when we are working, sometimes we'll mistakenly select the letter. So the way to stop that is to click the letter, right click, then lock object. So it's locked. So when we click on it, we won't move it. The only thing we'll be moving are the tiny circles inside. Now the first thing you need to do, zoom in, select one of these and duplicate, Ctrl D, and put it somewhere here. Now the gap here isn't similar to the gap here, which is normally the convention, but in this case it doesn't matter. We can zoom in and try and select and arrange this even better, or we can align and distribute. Select all three letters here, all three circles here, then distribute space horizontally. But if you notice, it didn't even give us what we wanted perfectly. This space is too big, it's bigger than this one. So in this case, align and distribute wouldn't help us. We just have to eyeball it to put it in the center. Now take this and duplicate and come here. Make it as close as possible, put it somewhere inside. Now I could decide to take a circle one by one, but let's do something that will make it easier for us. Let's come down here, duplicate, Ctrl D, and put this here, duplicate again, select it and put it here. Now what you are going to do now is come up here, look for this arrow here, select it, come to this one here, snap to, select, then select object, page, guidelines, base grid, line grid, and document grid, then come out of it. Now what that does is you will understand in a bit. Now come here, freehand tool, select Bezier tool, this one. Now come to the center. You see how it snaps to the center. If we didn't do that snapping here, it wouldn't snap to the center. So snap to the center, select this, then come down here, snap to the center and select this. Right? So now you've drawn a line that starts from the center of these two circles. Now come to select the line, this shape tool, select it, select this bottom part, right click and click curve. Now go to the center here. You can see how my cursor changed from a box. Look at that thing close to the cursor, a box. It changed to a curve or like a squiggly line. So drag this point here and bend it. We're trying to follow the curve of the font. So now that line selected, select this line, come to Rstones and do stones on curve, not around curve, on curve. Select this and click create stones. So you see, we didn't need to go one by one selecting the stones, and it gives us an evenly distributed split set of stones. What you now need to do is to select the top one, because it created a stone on top of that one we already had, and delete it. Select this one too and delete it. Our line is still there. Select and delete. So you can see our font is coming together. Now this place isn't straight because if you notice, the font is kind of jagged. You can decide to leave it this way, or we can decide to select all these ones here and shift it in. Select all these ones here. Remember, the closer it is, also the font looks interesting. It looks more pleasing to the eye, as opposed to if there's a lot of gap or a lot of space in between them. So move this like this. Come here to this one is kind of far away, and move it here. Move this one here. Now sometimes you will notice that there's even too much space between these ones, but we'll get there in a bit. and we'll handle it. That's when we're fine tuning. Now, for something like this, we need to decide, how do we want this one to go? Do we want it to go like this and connect? Or do we want to complete this line here, then this one just touches? Now, this method, I want these two to come together. So we take this one and move it to the side. We take this one and move it to this side. So we do what we just did now. We go to our bezier handle, click this one, click the center of this circle, it has already snapped to it, and click the center of this one, it snaps to it, and it creates a straight line. There's no need to do a curve for this one because there's no real curve like this one. Select the line and come to stones on curve, create stones. Remember, it created a stone on top of the one we selected, or the one we placed the line on. Select this one and delete as well, then select the line and cancel. Now take all these and move it in a bit, move it in a bit. So remember, the circles shouldn't touch. They should be close enough but shouldn't touch, especially when you are making a rhinestone template out of it. It's best to have them as close as can be, but not too close. If not, the template will tear. When you get to the point where you are cutting templates by yourself, you understand what I mean. So for this one now, because this line, the width of the font here is quite thin, we can decide to leave that way. So we can now start the next set of circle, a second line somewhere around here. Leave that one that way. Now we have a decision to make when it comes here. How do we want this one to be? Do we want it to continue this way, or we want this one to join this way? I think I like the idea of it continuing this way. So we're going to move this aside and duplicate this and duplicate another one and put it somewhere here. Now if you see, the spaces are too kind of close together. So what we can do is to strategically start moving it. Tiny spaces here, tiny space movement here, tiny movement here, to give it some kind of space here. Yeah, so we have that. We can now select this 4 here, select the 4 and come to align and distribute space horizontally. Now the only way yours will look close to what I'm doing is, remember, you have to use the same size of what we did before. It even reduced it, sir. I thought it was 11. Where is my eye? What happened to eye? Anyway, we can always pick our eye from here. Remember when I said you should leave a duplicate of what you have? So duplicate this, bring it, convert to, break them apart, make them individual letters, then go to the eye and Ctrl Q to turn it into a shape, duplicate and drag that eye here. I don't know what happened to the eye here, which is weird, but let's just leave our eye here, place it the way we want, remove the fill, add an outline. Fantastic. So now what we need is to be able to do this, follow this line, take this stone like this and follow this line. Now what we'll first do is to duplicate this and put it here. Now duplicate again and put this one here. Eyeball the distance between the stones. Now I'm going to do the same thing that we did earlier, but what we'll do is, first of all, duplicate and put this one here. Fantastic. Now go to bezier handle or bezier tool, click center, click center. Now the next thing you need to do, go to the shape tool here, click the line, click the bottom here, right click and to curve, select the center and bend it out. Now you can click the bottom and move this handle here, click the top here and move this handle here. We're trying to mimic the curve of the original font. If you notice, we're not necessarily following every single bump or curve of the font. We're trying to make it as close as possible. So come here, select this and create stones. Fantastic. Remember, click here, delete. Click this one, delete. Now delete the line. There. Now there's too much space here. That means we can put another set of circles here. Now what we'll do, this one that we discarded, bring it, put it here. Now we could put it here. It's nothing wrong with that. But if we're going to do that, we're going to have to create more space for it here. It does follow a curve, but we can move one or two out of the way so that the only space we have is here, and there's really nothing we can do about that. Sometimes your fonts or your designs will have these kind of spaces. If you watch or if you see some designs that have been done, not every single space is covered. Now, what some people do is that they can decide to put a smaller circle there, which means they will be putting a smaller stone in that position. So some people do designs with what's it called, a mixed media of stone sizes, but I'm a fan of just doing one size for everything. So you could take a smaller stone and put it here and here and here, and it will still look cool. I don't like the way this is, so I'm going to drag this down here and drag this down here. Drag this up a bit. Fantastic. So now, same thing we did before. Go to your Bezier handle, select the middle of this, select the middle of this, go to your shape tool, select the bottom, right click to curve, bend it here, this to follow the curve of this one and the curve of that one. Select the circle, come to Rstones, stones on curve, create stones. Now if you notice, it's more to this side than this side. So all we need to do, we could decide to select the stones and shift them, but it's better to just alter the curve of the line. So Ctrl Z to undo, select the line, go to your shape tool, select this bottom, then you can now bend it more to that side. I think I've bent it too much. So bend it like this, then bring this one back a bit. Yeah. So select the line and let's click this. Okay. It looks now, it looks this side has too much of an opening. Ctrl Z, select again, go to your shape tool. I have a shortcut for my shape tool. I'll show you guys how to create a shortcut later. Select the line and click now this looks a lot better. Remember, select this one, select this one, select the line. What we could do is select all these and shift them in a bit. Select this, shift them in. This one, shift it in. Now we're getting somewhere. And I'm not that liking the way this looks, so I can shift this in. Shift it in a bit. No. This is better. I'll push this out a little bit. Fantastic. Now, we're not done. Now, this is kind of done. What we can do to avoid trying to put new stones is to select everything here and drag it up here. Doesn't really change the way the font looks. You can push this up here. I'm going to do the Bezier thing again. So, select this, delete, delete, delete. In fact, there's so much space in between all this, so we can decide to even delete the whole thing. What we need is where we start let's do this one first. So you can even delete that one, because technically we want these lines to start from here. Or no, because this one doesn't necessarily go here, so you can leave that one, can delete that one though. So go to your Bezier tool, select the middle of this, select the middle of this, go to your shape tool, select this, now bend it in, select this bottom part, bend this one like this, bend this one like this, so it looks or resembles the curve of the R of the letter. Create this, delete the line down. You can't necessarily have two running down, because two lines running down, because it kind of tapes off here. So you can select this, duplicate, and drag it somewhere here. Now you can now take your Bezier handle, click here, click the center here, go to your shape tool, click here, right click to curve. Now bend this way, bend it this way, so it follows the curve of the R. That done, select the line, delete this, delete that. We could leave it like that, but there's a space in between. Now let's see if we can fit a circle here. Not necessarily, so we can shift this back a bit so that we can fit. Now this may be too close for making a template, but this space isn't too bad. So we can go here, eyeball it, bring it here, duplicate again, come here. We're not doing the the Bezier tool method. Come here, eyeball it. Yeah. Can we put one here? Let's see. Yes, we can. Fantastic. Zoom out. Do we have what we want? Close. I don't like this space here. If we select these two and drag them up, yes, we could now use the bottom part to complete this curve here. So let's try it. See, sometimes you go with the way it looks. There's no scientific way. Remember, this is art. Sometimes you go with the way you feel. Select all of this and drag them up. Yes, drag them up. You can now reposition this one and reposition this one, so they kind of now flow. Remember, we're trying to make it look like an R. Not just putting stones together, it has to look like the letter we're trying to represent. So since we're moving things up, I decide to select all of this. Undo and select that one and click here. What we could do is, since we now have a new starting point, anywhere it looks odd, like here now there's too much space, I could decide to delete all of this, and we could even start the whole thing all over again, which is direct this one here and delete everything. Yes, let's start from the top again for this part, since we rearrange the way this is. Fantastic. So arrange that part there. Yes, bring this one here so it doesn't touch so much. So this will form a pivot for the curve that comes this way. So go to your Bezier tool, or you know what, I don't like this space. Bring it up a bit. Fantastic. Click the bezier handle. Click the what's it called? Oh no, you don't even need to click it. Just click the bezier tool. Come to the center here. Click. Come to the center here. Click. Go to your shape tool. Click the button. Right click. Curve. Bend it. Bend it. Bend it. Bend it. Bend it. Now select. Create stones. Delete this. Now if you notice something that's happened because of the way we move the curve, now we have more space to put the second line. Fantastic. Bezier handle, center, shape tool, click the bottom part, right click to curve, bend here, bend it more, select, create stones. Okay, now we need the center one. Zoom in, duplicate this. No, can it stay here? Okay, it's fine. You know, if you notice, the gap between this is kind of too much. So this is where sometimes Rstones fails you. So let's tighten up that space by just repositioning the stones. Sometimes it doesn't give you exactly what you want. So one stone can stay in between here, which means we have to reposition all of this. That means this one in the middle then doesn't, this one in the middle doesn't work. We'll have to reposition it and put it here. So we sacrifice this space so that we can get, what's it called? Can get a better spacing between this line. So we can put this here. I decide to just go eyeball it rather than go the bezier tool. Okay. You see one of the reasons we didn't go the bezier tool. Now this is too close. So just increase a bit. Just position. Just position there. Of course, you can zoom in and make this look a little bit more, arranged. If we zoom out, this is our result. There's a place I'm not liking, which is here. So we can select these ones and move them in. Select this one, move them in. Depending on how it looks to you, you can decide to rearrange it. Remember, like I said, Rstones will only give you like a skeleton and do 75% of the work. All the other work, especially with complex shapes like this, complex fonts like this, you need to go in and tweak things. So now we have R done. Next step is to select the whole thing and group it, Ctrl G. So our R is done. One way to see if what you are doing makes sense is to select it and move it away from the source shape. This looks like an R. Fantastic. So Ctrl Z to put it back where it is. Now let's face our eye. Sorry about that. So select our eye. Now the eyes together with this what's it called? The heart. So Ctrl K to break them apart. So you can select the eye and the heart. Now for this one we need stones around curves. So select that, inside, create. This one doesn't need too much story because there's no space in between to put anything anyway. Just select this one and move it to the side. Mine wasn't selecting, I don't know why. I don't like the space in between. So what we could do is to select everything like this. Yes, and just move it in a bit. So yes. You know what? I don't like the way this looks. So what I will do is that I will select, delete the ones in between, go to my bezier tool, center, shape tool, select the bottom, right click. I want them to look more like on a claw and it doesn't look just scattered. Select, create. Wow, sorry. That error came about because this method of putting stones does not work for a straight line. So we need to go back and turn it to stones on curve. Create stones, fantastic. So this one doesn't look very curvy. So let's take out these ones. And delete the line. Go to bezier, select the center here, select the center here. Go to your shape tool, select the bottom, right click to curve and try and bend it to follow like this kind of curve. Then select, create stones. Now this looks better, at least to me. So part of your eye is ready. Now for the heart, we could use this. No, we can't use this. Oh, we can. Yes, we use this inside. It doesn't look like a heart. Doesn't really look like a heart. We could replace it with one of my template hearts, but just let's see if we can tweak this. Sometimes try before you replace, and besides, my template hearts are kind of bigger than this. Now for this one, you may decide to abandon that heart and put a dot there instead, or a circle that forms the dot. Let's see if we can try and follow the curves. You know, the bigger the circles, the more difficult it is for you to walk them into a small shape, because the circles are big, they'll take up all the space. So you see, it's not even looking like a heart anymore. The shape that was there, or the shape that is there, it doesn't really look like a heart anyway. So for this one, we can decide to leave it like this. It doesn't necessarily look like a heart anyway. So if the client insists that they want it to be this way, then maybe we look for one of our template hearts and put it there. So what we've done essentially now is to create a heart out of nothing really. How can anyone stay here? Yes, yeah. More close. We can move this. Just come closer and move this a bit. Yes. Come closer and move this a bit. Come closer and move this a bit. Now we kind of like have something resembling what was there, or the shape that's there. So that's okay. Select this, select shift, select everything here. Move it around to make sure you selected the right thing. Ctrl Z, click G to group them. And select this one too. Click G. You know what? Let's transform all the things we've done to letter red so that we know that yes, we're done with this one. Fantastic. Now this one, G, it's the same pattern here. So we go to stones on curve, create curves. Fantastic. So what we need now is something that will fill the middle part. This doesn't, it's quite thin. But let's zoom in and see. How do we approach this? How do we approach this? Okay, we need something to go like this. We need it to go like this. But this space will be too small. So once the space is too small, it's either you widen the space or you make the space even smaller so it's not too obvious that there's a space there. So first thing I want to do is this curve kind of follows what we want to do here. So sometimes you don't need let's lock this object so that it's not in the way. So sometimes the curve you are trying to create is already there with a bunch of stones. So if you select all of that and duplicate it and move it to the side, we already have what we would have had if we use the bezier handle. So you can take this duplicate, put it somewhere here. You can take this duplicate and put somewhere here. And duplicate, put somewhere here. Now this is where it starts to get closed off. What I could do is delete this. I want this to be closer. So select all of this. Select all of this. And move it to the side here. Do that so that this space here is not so obvious. Since we can't put stones in between, let's reduce the gap so the gap is not so prominent. And now duplicate this. I think we can leave this like this to a very large extent. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. So you can now move in and add one here. Fantastic. So now how do we want this to move? Fine. So you notice the gap here too is a problem. So you can select all of this and move it in. Select this, move it in, move this in. Select all of this, move it in. Select this, move it in. So sometimes you look at it and say, okay, what do we do here? Some fonts are more challenging than the others, and I have selected or I'm using one that is quite challenging. But the bigger the challenge, the bigger the reward. Because this font is not something a lot of Rhinestone people are using. The fonts look unique, they look different. The clients love what you are doing. So go hard or go home. I don't know what they say. Yes. Now let's go out and see if we can run a line there. Now this doesn't look like it makes sense. So we're going to remove this, right? And put it here. You understand why in a bit. And you see where we're going. Fine. So what I want is this line G to continue from here. So it automatically means we're only doing 2. Yeah. It means we're doing 2 instead of 3. Now you can see how the G comes together at this point. Fantastic. Alter the way it looks a bit. I wish we could add one here, somewhere here, but there's not enough space. There isn't enough space. So we have to now follow this. But of course, and do what we did before with the Bezier tools. The Bezier, I keep calling it tools. It's actually a Bezier handle. Let's go to our bezier handle. Click the center here. Click the center here. Go to shape tool. Click this. Right click. Bend it in. Take this up a bit. Select. Remember, we can't use this. It will give us an error. We should be using. Yeah. Oh, it's the same one. No. Yes, it is. That's weird. Why am I seeing something else? Okay. Rstones. Fantastic. Delete. 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 Zoom out. We have a G. Yes, we do. So select all of the G group. Red. G ended up being fast. Let's go to H. H inside. No, this one put it on the line actually. I'm having an error here somewhere. Let me go out of Rstones and click it again. Go back. An error there. Aha, now. I wasn't supposed to be seeing anything inside. That's not an option for stones on curve. Let's undo this. Select this. Go to this one. Stones and round curve. Click inside. Create. So it's on the inside we want it. This one. What do we do here? There's an easy way. Now, if you remember when we were here, we didn't let the curve touch this. We let this part be its own thing. We can do the same thing here, making this part its own thing and let the curve just come out of it. So we don't need it to do this. What we need it to do is to go down here, right? Duplicate. Duplicate. Now there's too much space in between. So what we can do is to delete all of this. Sorry about that. Is there enough space to put something in between? The only way that would work is if we push these ones on the right to one side so it can fit. No. Now, one thing we could do is to borrow this part of the R and put it here. Or we should just leave our H. Okay, let me do what I initially wanted to do, which was to do a bezier connection. Center, shape tool, click the bottom one, right click, and bend it this way. I think I'll leave it. I won't be taking anything from the R. Remember, lock the object. The object we're trying to stone. Change this to line. I don't know. It's an error. This isn't what I should be seeing. But if you follow along and look at yours, it should be correct. Okay, fantastic. So what we want to do here is to take this, put it here. Now, to a very large extent, we can leave it this way. I don't know. Looks weird. There's too much space in between. Like I said, when you're having space in between, you can do one of two things. You can decide to widen the space so that we can put another line of circles, or we can make the space smaller so the space in between is not more obvious. Now, there's something I want to do here. I want the space in between each circle here to be the same. Remember, we had that lesson where we talked about distribute space vertically. So we select everything there. Now we're going to distribute space vertically. Now the space is more or less the same. Now we could decide to leave it like this. It's nothing wrong. There's no shame in it. We can, but I think there's too much space. So one of two things. Do we shift and make it more compact, like this, or do we add a new line? Now I'm going to shift and make it more compact for this one. Then I will create a new line for this part so that you understand how to do both. Now this space has become more prominent. So what I will do is I'll duplicate and put another circle in between here. Then I go down here and I select everything here except this one at the top, and vertical, distribute space vertically. Now that's done. I don't like the way it's looking up here. I don't even like the bottom part. I want to do that distribution again because I shifted that one at the bottom. Fantastic. I think this is the point where we're going to use the Bezier tool because some of them are not following. So let's use the Bezier tool. That will help us. I remove this one as well. This is the base. This is how I want it to end. So go to the Bezier tool, select this one. Remember center. Shape tool, select the bottom. Right click, close. Oh, sorry, I said close to curve. Fine. I should have probably done this one first. I should have done the outer one because it's the outer one that we are trying to follow. So let's delete this Bezier. Center, shape tool, bottom, right click to curve. Now shift this like this. Yes. Okay. Select onto Rstones. Yes. Fine. Delete. Now that we have the defining curve, we can now come here. Bezier tool, center, shape tool, bottom, right click to curve. Yes. We can now do it to follow that outer curve. Select. Now you see everything is looking straight on the same line curve. I'm liking this to want to join this, but I will not be tempted to do it. Just leave it like this. So what we've done here is to make it go closer as opposed to how wide it was initially. So for this one, we said we want to add another line in between. So what we'll do is to go here and delete it. Interesting, isn't it? What we want to do now is to go and move this, duplicate and put it here. So you know it's possible to have that center line. Now for this bottom part, we can duplicate this and put this here. Duplicate again and put this here. Yes. In fact, I'm even duplicate and put this here. Because the bottom, where it's going, is important to determine the middle parts. I think one can be here to just follow the way the font looks. Fantastic. We are there. So now we can go to our Bezier tool, select this one, Now because of that snap tool, it will snap to that point, curve, and do this. I think it needs to come out a bit because of this center part. Select, create stones. Delete, select this one, go. Now we want the inside part. Put your bezier tool, center, shape tool, go to the bottom one to curve and bend this way. I have a feeling this will have too much space, but let's go. Yes, I wasn't wrong. But it's a quick fix really. All you need to do is grab all of this and shift them inside. Shift inside, shift inside, shift outside, shift inside. This one needs to go inside. Don't select this. Sorry, oopsie. Select. Move in. Fantastic. Move in. Yes. Cool. If you feel there's too much space here, you can take this and move in. Fantastic. So our H has 3 lines here, a single line and 2 on this side. Remember, select the whole thing, group, and turn this red. Now we move to T. Go to this. Sorry, let me restart my Rstones so it doesn't look weird. Don't know why it looks weird. So we are going to stones around curves. Inside. Select. Now this one kind of presents us with the same case here, but unlike this one, I think what we will do is to follow what we did with the eye. We will put a third line, but we need this top part to be similar. Let the cross part be what joins it. You understand what I mean? Or it's pretty clear what I mean. So you can duplicate and put something up here. You can push this one up, bring it down. You can delete all this. In fact, you can delete this too. Delete this. Now let's go to our bezier tool. Center, shape tool, bend this to follow here. Select. Sorry, we needed to change the setting to stones on curve and create. Now we need one that runs this way. There's it to select, or rather click center, shape tool, bottom, curve. Okay. Select, create stones. Fantastic. So it's closer together, kind of follows the font. And duplicate this and bring it to the bottom here. Yes. And let's come here. So who do we want to follow? Grab this and bring it up so it's kind of aligns with that one. So it kind of aligns with this one. We want this to be 2 lines. So we're just repositioning things here. Duplicate that one, duplicate again. Now these 2 need to be here. Remember the dash cuts across this way. You can bring this down, duplicate, and bring this down. Duplicate and bring this down. Duplicate and bring this down. Duplicate again, go here. This is a little tricky. Duplicate and put this here. I think we're good. Yes, we're good. Okay, we're good. And you need to lock that original T-shape. So we select this, we don't select it. Group it. So we've done RIGHT. Now the E that was giving us trouble, it didn't follow any setting. Oh, it finally did, but it did the online one rather than the inside one. Okay, now I understand why it didn't work. So this one is pretty easy. Okay, sorry, need to lock the E so it doesn't move. Fine. So we want this to continue like this. So what we'll do is to delete all of this, move this down this way, move this down. Let's eyeball it. Let's not use Bezier tool. You could decide to use the Bezier tool too, but I just want to eyeball it for this one. Just follow the duplicate, okay, it has a sharp point, so let's respect that sharp point. Respect the sharp point. Yes. Now sometimes this is one of the benefits of eyeballing it. Sometimes Bezier handle Rstones, they don't exactly work, because those are like automatic ways of doing it. So sometimes eyeballing it gives you a much better customization. Now the next thing is we want this to follow and come down here. So go, duplicate and put this here. We can't put it here, there's no space. Now we can try our Bezier and duplicate and put this here so that we can start our Bezier from here. Fantastic. So Bezier tool, center, shape tool, select the bottom part, right click, curve, take this one this way, take this one this way. Okay, set it to follow that curve, and to follow the curve. Bring it in a bit so there isn't too much space. Okay, fine. Select create stones. Now there's too much space, so we need to undo. Select again, shape tool, click the top part here, drag this more in. Yeah. Fantastic. Select create stones. Oh, sorry, I selected it twice. Fantastic. Now as you can see, there's still that space in between. We can follow the rule we created before, which is to compress, delete. Where did it come from? Here, delete. Now we can choose all this. Remember, when there's too much space, it's either we reduce the space or we widen it so that we can place an extra line. For this one, I don't think it needs 4 lines, so let's just bring all of this in to make it more compact, look more defined. I don't know if you guys can hear the music in the background. I hope it's not distracting, because I usually can't walk this long in total silence. I have to listen to something. Sometimes it's documentaries, but most times it's music. Interestingly, it helps me concentrate. Okay, now our E is done. Like we did before. Is it possible to put one here? Let's see. Oh, I think this goes up. And this goes up. And this goes in. This goes in. This goes in. We position this. Zoom up and see if we have any leaves. Oh, fantastic! It worked. You know, like I said, sometimes you try things out. I told you guys, a huge chunk of what you'll be doing is to work by yourself. Play with these settings. Play with it. You'll figure out a lot of things faster without any direction. That's how I learned it. I think there's no real... The tutorial videos for how to design rhinestones, there are very few. Very, very few. It's almost as if they don't exist. So a lot of this you have to figure out by yourself. Okay, fine. E is good. You can move on from the E. Do that. Red. This one is our O. Place around curve, stones around curve, select. Now obviously this one, because of how jagged it is, it's just going to be one straight line. It's pretty easy. Duplicate, drag it here, duplicate, drag it here, duplicate, drag it here, duplicate, drag it here, duplicate, drag it here. Ignore this for now. Let's concentrate more on the main circle itself. That doesn't really stop it from being a circle. It's a feature we could add or remove. It wouldn't change. Oh, we didn't. Sorry. We didn't. What's the word? Lock the original object. Delete. Sorry, duplicate. I said delete. Drag this one down here. Duplicate. And drag this up here. You can drag these boys up here. Drag this one here. I think this should be closer together because we can't expand. And like I said, if there's space, what do? We either expand to create another line, or we contract to reduce the space so it doesn't look too far apart. I guess that's the rule. You should write it down. If there was let's not even mention that. Okay. So we need this to actually curve down this way. So if that's the case, let's crack open our bezier handle. I keep saying bezier handle. It's bezier tool. Center, shape tool. Click the button, right click to pause. Where's our curve? I think our curve is good. Select, create stones. My goodness, sorry. We should change the setting back to stones and curve because it's a straight line. Sometimes I forget. Now, you see all the trouble you have gone to just to create one word. When they are charging, when you are charging for it, charge accordingly. Charge according to the stress that you went through. Now you understand why people charge so much. Eh, maybe I should have left it the way it was, but there's still space here that we can exploit to create that space here that will prevent these two stones from overlapping. Fantastic. We pulled it off just by eyeballing it, because our stones and the Bezier style created too much space. Now we're good. Our O is done. Select group, turn to red. Let's go to U. U for U. Stones around. Create. Now it's kind of like what we had before, so we need to make this its own thing. Curve and make this its own thing. First things first, let's take this. Okay, no, let's lock it. Fine. Now let's employ what we've done before. What we've learned: select this tree, select this one, and vertically distribute. Select this tree, not vertically distribute, select this tree, select this last one, and see horizontally align. That's what I wanted to say. Now remember, it's either we increase the space or we reduce the space. In this case, I want to reduce the space. I don't want to increase the space. Oh no, since it's very close to this curve here, what we'll do is we'll take it from here. Make this in. Fantastic. Good. I'm trying to decide if I want this to go this way, and I think I do. So move this. Fantastic. So this can start from here. This can go up. This can go in a bit. Fantastic. Duplicate and put this here. So now we have a problem of too much space here. I think we can just, what we'll do is to duplicate one, put it here, and select everything there, everything here, and distribute space vertically. Fantastic. We can, I think, shift this in a bit so the space isn't so much. Fantastic. I'm not loving this curve. Is it just me? I think it's just me. We can leave our U that way. Our U is done. So we can color it. The error I was experiencing before was because my computer is connected to a monitor, and there was a power outage, so the monitor wasn't on. Now it's on, or rather there's light now, so my monitor is back on. So let's go on. Last letter, EP. Now go to stones around curve. This one is probably the easiest one. All you need to do, push this up here. I'm trying to fit two stones here, not one. Trying to fit two. Lock this object. Sorry, keep forgetting. You can see what I'm trying to do. Yes, fantastic. You can add something in between. This S was just eyeballing this S really. Everything goes at this point. As long as we're following the rules, remember, because of this, we have to now shift this out, shift this out, shift this out. I think we're good with the bottom part. And this part, just leave this one like this. Or no, what you could do is to follow this line instead. Yes, let the curve come from outside rather than from inside. If this is the case, then we can put this here and add a stone circle. Although it is technically a stone, it is a stone. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, group red. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have come to this end of this tutorial. Select the whole thing and duplicate it so you can drag it out. We didn't lock the eye, so we can delete this base shape. Fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have transformed this font into a rhinestone template. Select and remove the outline. Somehow the outline is weird. We can decide to just ungroup this and make the letters a little bit closer, especially if this is supposed to be for a smaller shirt. If it's like an extra large and or bigger, it'll be okay. But this, if it's for a small shirt, let's see the entire width, about 10.5. This is perfect. So that's the end of the tutorial for today. I want you to try it out and let me see your result with this particular font. You couldn't have picked a much harder font, but if you can pull this off, there's hardly any font you will not be able to use. Thank you.